Miranda was reputed to be a strict, sharp-tongued and very vindictive woman, so many preferred not to get involved with her. She'd been the head of the small town all her life, and perhaps this work influenced her character, or maybe it was her difficult childhood and adolescence. Left fatherless and motherless at an early age, Miranda raised her 5 brothers and sisters on her own. Over the years, her character became hardened, and people rarely saw her with a smile on her face. The woman had no friends, and it was hard for her to develop relationships with men. Thus, Miranda would have lived alone all her life, but one day she met Oliver. Oliver came to their settlement to earn money with a construction crew. Miranda was immediately attracted by the modest man, something very different from everyone else. Under her connections, she gathered information about him and found out that he had divorced his wife long ago and had no other relatives. Apparently, then the woman decided that she had met a soulmate and began courting Oliver. The local women only laughed at Miranda, watching her carry food to the worker at the construction site. But Miranda, throwing a stern look at the women, would walk past proudly, and the next day the husbands of these gossipy women began to have problems at work, unplanned inspections or deprivation of bonuses. Oliver, who knew from the local stories about the harsh disposition of women, tried to keep her distant at first, but Miranda was determined, and soon she managed to win Oliver's heart. On this day, the construction site was completed, and the team was packing up to go home. Oliver showed up at the doorstep of Miranda's office. He timidly asked Miranda to help him find a place to live, since he had decided to stay here for some time. Miranda was pleased and immediately told Oliver, in an unobjectionable tone, that she was ready to rent him a room in her house and help him with employment. Oliver obediently went to his new home, and Miranda happily fussed around the house, putting things in order and cooking dinner for the first time, not for herself alone. Miranda's house was very nice. There were many rooms, but looking at the house, Oliver immediately noticed a lack of a man's hand and began to correct this defect. Over time, Oliver saw Miranda as a caring, gentle and smiling woman and felt passionate feelings for her. So Miranda and Oliver began to live in love and harmony. As time passed, Miranda was still working at her job and Oliver was a foreman at a local factory. Miranda knew that many people were jealous of her, but she was sure of her lover's feelings and didn't pay any attention. When one day Oliver was sent on a business trip to a neighboring state for a few days, Miranda let him go with a light heart. Soon, everyone was sent back home, all except Oliver. Miranda couldn't find her peace. When she went to the police, she saw a smirk in the local officer's eyes. He openly hinted that Oliver had left Miranda for some city girl and refused to take a statement, literally pushed the woman out the door. Time passed and Oliver never showed up, although Miranda felt in her heart that he could not betray her. One evening, the doorbell rang and she saw Oliver standing on the threshold, holding the hand of a young pregnant girl. For a moment, Miranda was speechless. "Miranda, we need to talk to you," uttered Oliver. "What? Are you going to tell me you're leaving me for a young girl? No, I'm the one leaving you. Get out of here, you sneak!" yelled Miranda. Not letting Oliver say a word, she grabbed something heavy and threw it at the people standing in front of her. Oliver, frightened, grabbed the young girl by the hand, jumped out of the house, and they hurriedly walked away, while Miranda continued shouting curses and throwing Oliver's things out onto the street. The next morning, the whole village knew about the family drama that had played out, and Miranda could not calmly pass by the employees at work, discussing her behind her back. For the first time, she was ashamed to look into people's eyes, and she hurried to lock herself in her office to be left alone. She constantly thought about Oliver's actions and could not concentrate on her work. In the evening, going into the store and hearing the saleswoman discussing her family life with one of the customers, Miranda hurried home. Her tears were choking her, but she tried to hold on as best she could. When she met a neighbor near her house, who tried to tell her some words of comfort, Miranda walked past her and slammed the door in her face. Miranda had no strength to go to work, and at first she took sick leave, but then she wrote a letter of resignation and never went back to work. Life without Oliver lost all meaning to her, and the woman almost stopped going out of the house. Spring came, many things piled up in the house and garden, and Miranda had to go out little by little. One day, when the woman went out to take the garbage out and take a little walk, she noticed a young woman at a bus stop with a baby in her arms. The woman was crying, and the baby was also crying out, and Miranda couldn't get past her. "What's wrong, honey? Who are you and where are you from?" asked Miranda, coming closer. She looked at Miranda with eyes swollen with tears and told her name was Chloe and that she came from a neighboring village. Her parents had kicked her out of the house because of the baby, and she was kicked off the bus because she had no money for a ticket. Miranda felt sorry for the girl and suggested that she go to her house. After feeding Chloe, she left her in her room so that she could feed the baby in peace, and in the morning she bought things for the child in the store, paying no attention to the perplexed looks of the saleswoman. When she returned home, she saw that Chloe, with the baby, was standing outside, ready and about to leave. "Thank you, Miranda. You're a very kind person. We have to go. Goodbye," said Chloe with a heavy sigh. "Where will you go?" asked Miranda. But Chloe only lowered her eyes, and the woman realized they had nowhere to go. "Okay, what about staying with me for a while? By the way, I bought some things for the baby," Miranda said, and took Chloe and the baby back to the house with a gentle hug. Time passed, and Chloe and her daughter continued to live at Miranda's house. The woman became very attached to the new tenants and treated the little one as her own granddaughter. Chloe also turned out to be a good young woman with a complicated life, and she tried to help Miranda in everything. Miranda gradually began to come to her senses too, and only occasionally grieving memories tormented her soul. One day, Oliver called. He begged her to listen to him again, asked for a meeting to explain everything, but Miranda was adamant and only shouted insults at him. Throwing down the phone, she, shaking with sobs, threw herself on the bed where Chloe found her. "What happened?" she asked affectionately, touching the shoulder of a weeping woman. After hearing Miranda's story, Chloe persuaded the woman to meet with Oliver and listen to him. Miranda called him and made an appointment. When he arrived, he looked very agitated and confused. "I should have told you everything right away, but I got scared. That girl is my daughter. My ex-wife wouldn't let me see her, but she passed away recently and my daughter's boyfriend left her when he found out she was pregnant. While on the business trip, I decided to visit my daughter and found her in utter despair. I was the only family member she had left. We wanted to tell you everything, but you didn't want to listen, and since then, we've been living in threes, me, my daughter, and my grandson, but I couldn't live without you. Forgive me for everything." When Oliver finished speaking, Miranda was silent for a while, and then, unable to hold back her tears, threw herself into the arms of her beloved. That's how Oliver and Miranda, who were living without children, found 2 daughters and grandchildren at once, and love and happiness settled in their home forever.